y'all, it's your girl Chelsea Alexa. Welcome back to my channel. I'm jumping straight into it today. I have edge booster and I'm just going to use that to lay my edges back. I already have some cornrows in from a previous install. I have about 9, so I'm just using that edge booster to lay my edges down, and I'm going to go in with my edge brush and I'm just going to brush that back to make sure that I can get all my hair out of the way. So now I'm going to go in with my Fantasia holding spritz and I'm going to spray that and then lay a styling strip on top just for added protection. I let that sit for about 10 minutes in total. And this is how it looked after the 10 minutes. So now I'm going to go in with rubbing alcohol and I'm going to clean my hairline or clean around my hairline. It's an important step if you want your installs to last long and not lift easily. I'm going to go in now with a wig cap and I'm going to cut little holes so that I can put my ears through so that it lays flat. I like the light colored wig caps because sometimes the dark ones have weird undertones, and with the light ones you can just put whatever foundation you want on top to make it whatever color you want. So I'm going to be using Ericka J's system today, and the first step is the skin guard. I just spray that around my hairline directly on top of the cap, and I tilt my head back because if it drips into your eyes it's going to burn. The next step is just the adhesive itself. I like using the adhesive instead of the Got2b spray. When I first was doing the ball cap method, I used Got2b spray and it just never worked out for me, so I've kind of just not used it since. So I'm using the adhesive itself and I'm going to use that to lay the cap down. I'm just following my hairline now. And now I'm going to get a popsicle stick and I'm going to use that to smooth the adhesive out. I think getting your layers of glue thin enough makes it dry quickly. So that's what I'm focusing on right now. You're going to see me kind of go back a couple times just to really make sure that the layers of glue are thin, and I'm trying to make them even. It's kind of a little messy, so be cleaner than me, but you get the point. And I'm not too worried about getting it into my hair because taking the wig off properly is going to make sure you don't mess up your edges. Trust me, I've been there. So now I'm taking a blow dryer and I'm just going to blow that till it dries clear. And I'm going to take Fenty Pro Filt'r Hydrating Foundation in the color 430 and a large stippling brush. And I'm just going to blend that into my cap. Just really make sure you get it to like a deep enough saturation so it'll look like your actual skin. It looks a little thin right now, but don't worry, I put more on. And now I'm just cutting the excess cap. Again, I'm following my hairline. And don't be afraid if you're not exactly sure how it's going to work with the wig, because you're going to see soon after I'm going to put the wig back on to kind of make sure that none of the cap's going to show once I actually lay it down. So after I cut the cap, here's how we were looking. A cute ass peanut. So like I said, I'm putting the wig back on. I see there's a little bit of extra cap, so I'm just going to go ahead and fix that. Snip, and we're moving on. So I lay my wig in sections. Ericka says 50-50, but to me, that felt like it was taking too much time. But I heard Alonzo Arnold say 70-30. So I'm laying the first 70% right now. I'm just, again, outlining the hairline with the adhesive and taking a popsicle stick to smooth that out. Then I'm going to get my blow dryer and get that to dry clear. And then I'm going to put another layer. I do 2 layers only because I wear my wigs for about 2 weeks. If you wear your wigs for longer, then you can do 3 layers. But honestly, at the 2-week mark, baby, I'm ready to go. I do have to apologize because I can't find footage of me cutting the lace, but I did cut it literally just right at the hairline in a zigzag motion. And now I'm applying that same Fenty foundation onto the lace. As far as actually applying your lace now, you have to really make sure that it's centered, that the middle of the wig is at the middle of your forehead. And the way I apply it, once I know that it's where I want it to be, I use my fingers to kind of push it in slightly, and then I go back in with the back of my comb, and that's what I use to really melt that hairline in. So I'm really pushing the back of the comb, not really the teeth. You kind of see that I'm sticking the comb in a little bit, but using the back to press down. And I'm literally inching along the hairline. I only did 70%, so I'm starting where the glue starts, and I'm just going down in that same direction until it's all the way laid down. Just take your time with it because it takes a little bit of time. the same thing for the side. Give extra love to the sides because that's where oil accumulates first and that always wants to lift first. And now I'm going to go in with my blow dryer on cool, and I'm just again using the back of the comb to press that in while blowing it. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing with the other 30%. So I'm going to start off with my first layer of adhesive, lay it across the other side of my hairline, use my popsicle stick to really spread that out. Make sure that the glue meets where you put the glue the last time. You don't want any gaps with no glue. Be really careful with that. Then I'm doing my second layer of that. And we're following the same exact thing. We're going to get the comb and we're going to use that to melt the hairline in. Another thing I'd say is to really make sure you're holding the end of the lace tight. You don't want it there to be any gaps or bubbles, so you have to really make sure you're holding it tight as you're inching it along to make sure that you're laying the lace as flat as it can be. And then I'm just going to cut off the excess lace. This wig is kind of small, so I didn't have too much excess lace, but that's what I'm doing. This hair is already plucked, so now I'm going to go into the baby hairs. So I'm going to part the baby hairs off now, but I'm going to do so in a zigzag line instead of going straight across. Since the hairline's already plucked, that kind of helps just to make the hairline look more unique, I feel like, and more like an actual hairline. And I think it looks good. And I'm going to do the same thing all around the hairline. And this is what it looks like after I did all the baby hairs. It looks like a lot, but it's fine because I'm going to pluck them down. So now I'm going to get my hot comb and I'm just going to straighten them towards my face so that they'll lay down properly. Make sure not to burn your forehead because Lord, have I done that before. I'm going to go in now with the Nairobi foaming lotion to mold the rest of the hair back. I twisted away the baby hairs that I'm going to use so they don't get in the way, and I'm just putting that mousse or that foam all around the rest of the hairline. And then I'm going to use a comb just to comb it back and mold it so it'll stay out of the way. And then I'm going to go back over it with a hot comb to seal it in. So I'm taking that Fantasia holding spritz again and I'm spraying it around the hairline just to further melt that in before I put the elastic band on. The faces I make while doing hair are hilarious to me. I'm just a very passionate person, so I get really into it. And I do not care about what I be looking like, clearly. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the elastic band just to further melt that hairline in. So I'm going to have my blow dryer again on cool just to melt that hairline in further. And then I'm going to use my trusted hot comb to slick the rest of this hairline back. So I let this sit for about 20 minutes and then I took the elastic band off and started plucking my baby hairs just to make them thinner so that they lay better. And I'm going to apologize again because I have no footage of me cutting with my baby hairs, but I have footage of me curling it with a little pencil flat iron that I'll link below for you guys. I got it off Amazon. But I did cut my baby hairs in a diagonal just with regular scissors. Nothing crazy anyways. So now I'm going in with that same Nairobi foaming lotion and I'm just using that to set my baby hairs where I want them to. Just take your time with them. Honestly, you really have to mold them where you want them to go. But curling them definitely helps. Curling them just gives them a form and shape already so it looks better. Just take your time with the swoops. Now that I have my baby hairs where I want them to go, I'm going to go ahead and use some Gorilla Snot Punk. And I'm just going to go over those baby hairs. This is a pretty good edge control. I used to use it on my natural hair. I think I stopped because it was just too sticky for me. I think that's going to be helpful though in this case because it's going to keep the lace and the edges together. And then I'm just going to go ahead and make some finishing touches. And I did the other side of my baby hair off camera. Girl, I could not be bothered. But now I'm going to go ahead with that Nairobi again, and I'm just going to mold that hairline back again. I've used foam so many times, but when it comes to curly hair, honestly, you want to just use foam a lot because it just helps molding things where you want it to go so that it's not too crazy. So now I'm going to put a styling strip, lay that really flat so I can seal the edges in because I haven't done that yet. And then I'm going to go ahead and make my middle part. I decided on the middle part, so I'm just going to make that part from now. Then I'm going to put a second styling strip. And I'm going to put that elastic band back on. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to go in sections on my frontal. And I'm going to use some foam and then follow it with a hot comb just to make sure that it's laying flat. And again, I am doing that in sections. I did about 4 sections for each side. And make sure to put some hair from the frontal to cover the tracks on the top as well. And here's how we were looking. You can definitely see one side's flatter than the other. So I'm just going to repeat that on the other side and go into the styling. So I'm going to use a spray bottle with water and I'm going in sections. I'm going to really spray that with water pretty well. I want that to be really wet. And then I'm going to go in with the Doux Mousse Def Texture Foam. And I'm going to work that into the section and then use a paddle brush to work that in further. This is not my first time using the texture foam. I actually have a video, my 4C flexi rod set video. I used that to set the flexi rods and it worked really well. So I was excited to see how it was going to work on this hair. Honestly, I've had this install in for over a week now. I spray my hair with water every morning and the curls pop right back up, like literally, like no problem. I have not applied any product to it since I've done it the first time and the curls just look the exact same. And I like the fact that they get bigger over time as well. So you know I'm going to go in with my hot comb again. I love me a hot comb. It just lays things flat. So here's what it looks like wet. I actually let it air dry overnight before I filmed the after video. Right now I'm just doing any finishing touches. I'm plucking out any last minute hair that I see that look a little bit weird just to make sure it looks really customized and nice. And now I'm going in with LA Girl Pro Conceal in the color Toffee and a flat concealer brush, and I'm kind of just dotting that into my hairline. I'm not putting it like a line, I'm just dotting it. And then I'm using the back of a comb, that's what you're seeing right now, is the back of a comb, to kind of like work it in there so it's not too straight. Since I let it set overnight, the curls clumped together, which is fine. You want that to happen usually when you do a style like that. So I'm just taking my time to kind of separate them just for a little extra fullness, but not too much because like I said, they're going to get bigger over time. So just a little bit for extra fullness. Because I have not said it yet, this hair is from Barry's Fashion Hair Company. I have posted the video of me taking this hair from a dark 1B color to this nice light brown gingery color, so make sure you guys check that out. Here we have the hairline. I'm not the biggest fan of that side, but it's fine because that side's cute. So we're gonna let it pass. Thank y'all so much for rocking with me today and tuning in. If you have not done so already, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the content. I will see you guys in my next video. Later.